Hello mariners, hope you guys are doing well. In this video we are going to have a discussion on angle of LOL. What is angle of LOL, what does it mean, and its corrective action, and lots of things that which MMD do ask for at the time of our oral. And also this is one of the very important thing that we need to know, and if we know exact what does angle of LOL means, then only we can take a corrective action. So guys, be till end and clear your all doubts regarding angle of LOL. Let's begin. Before direct entry with the angle of LOL, let's have some of the topic that let's discuss. Let's begin with that topic, that is equilibrium of ship. What does exactly it mean? So in the equilibrium of ship there are three conditions, that is stable, unstable and neutral. So we'll have a discussion, then we will proceed ahead. So when a vessel is held is external force like wind, sea, current, other, and if she tends to come back to her original condition, she is said to be in a stable equilibrium. So whenever vessel is swinging, means is getting to other side in a transverse direction, it is moving due to its shift of center of buoyancy, or and if it's once come back to its original condition, that condition is known as stable equilibrium. So in stable equilibrium there is always, it has a positive GM, that is her GM must be positive, that is kg must be less than km. And now the unstable equilibrium. So when a vessel is held, that is inclined by external forces, if she tends to continue leading further, she is said to be unstable equilibrium. This vessel is listed. It's not basically, in this terminology we use the word hill and list is both are the different thing. I hope you all are aware of about this thing. If not, please go and watch my previous video too. So if the vessel is held and if it's getting further held in, and at a certain time the vessel may capsize. So the vessel does not have the ability to come back to its original position. That condition is known as unstable equilibrium. And that is the one of the other topic is neutral equilibrium. So what does this neutral equilibrium means? So when a vessel is held, that is inclined by an external forces, if she has no tendency to return to her original condition or to continue healing further, she is said to be a neutral equilibrium. So now if at this condition where GM becomes 0, like GM is equals to 0, that condition is known as neutral condition, and this thing is also known as angle of LOL. Angle of LOL means when the GM is equals to 0, means the G and the metacentric height comes to one position and the value of GM is 0, that condition is known as the neutral equilibrium, in that the vessel is held at a certain angle and it further not going to capsize and not going to return to its original position, that is known as the neutral equilibrium or the angle of LOL. So at the angle of LOL the vessel may capsize too, because the main reason of that the vessel can capsize is that we crew on the board, we are going to consume the fresh water, we are going to consume fuel oil, and due to that our G will shift, and at that as soon as the G's begins to shift and as the GMs start to begin with a negative, then the vessel will start capsizing, it will start going to the much hill to the other side, and at a certain time the vessel will capsize. So that is all, that is why we also call as the angle of LOL is a very danger. As you were seeing on a video, that this is a vessel, it's going to capsize, and this is a condition that is known as the angle of LOL. So basically it is same that once the vessel is going to in a stable condition and we are going to consume its fuel, its fresh water and other things, so the GM will increase and the vessel may sink. So it is also called as even no action is dangerous because of the consumption of fuel and soil. Now let's discuss about it, that what action we need to take, means a corrective action, that is remedies to angle of LOL. Let's discuss with that. So guys, now talk about the correction of angle of LOL. So the first what we need to do, so we have to reduce any free surface effect. So any free surface, what does mean by free surface? That is, if any tanks are slack, it is not filled up to the, means it is not filled fully, and that is known as the basically the remaining space, that due to that the free surface moment is corrected. So now how we are going to reduce the free surface moment? So now blast or press up the slack DB tank, blast the lower side. The first lower side means this side in the water area. So if the both port and also the starboard side, both the tanks are in a free surface effect, so what we have to do, first we have to blast the lower side only, or and deblast the slack tank to empty. And which are the slack tanks we have to try to deblast and make it empty. Now the second point, deblast the high tanks to shift G downward. That is high tanks which is on the starboard side. Now this on the port side. So now these tanks are, it's empty. Now try to deblast. Once you are deblasting the cargo, so the now it's going to, the cargo is, you are removing the cargo from this side, so the G will try to shift in this opposite direction. You know this concept. So now due to this, the G will try to shift downward, so you are making GM positive. Okay, and in fact jettison cargo from on deck if necessary and practicable. If after doing this much of also things, and if the vessel is not giving a positive GM, much higher GM, then try to, means throw the cargo from the deck, it's no problem. And after doing, calculate the stability, ensure the vessel has a sufficient GM. Hope you guys are getting this, and if still in any doubt, feel free to comments and I will clear your doubts, no problem. And we are doing this much. And again, if discharging or digesting the cargo, do so from the higher side first, okay, then from the lower side. If the using ship on gear, due allowance must be made for the shift of the COG of each slings of the thing. Well, hope these things are cleared in your mind, that why we are doing, how after discharging, deblasting, or why we are doing from the lower side, how our G is shifting, means we have to do such, we have to take action such a way that our GM should increase. As we will load in this area and G will increase, so we are loading in a, we are blasting the lower side. So if we are blasting a lower side, our G is will shift in that side only. Okay, so once the G shifted downward, our GM will increase. And why we are deblasting or we are removing the cargo from the higher side? Because the G moves when we are deblasting, or means we are throwing cargo, removing cargo, means we are removing the weight, the G shifted opposite, so that why the G is also in that condition, also it's shifting downwards. So that's why our GM will become positive, and once the GM becomes positive, the vessel will become stable condition, stable equilibrium, and it tends to come back to its original position. Hope guys it's going clear to your minds and it's clear to you guys. Let's have a discussion on this paragraph, that is I taken it from the Subramaniam book, sir, that what this is the explanation that why we are filling up the lower side first. So if the tank being blasted is not on the center line of the ship but on the either like number 2 and number 2 starboard, then fill up the lower side tank first. That is, if the ship is lowered to starboard, now that is already I shown that vessel is listed to starboard side, so then fill up the 2 starboard first. After is full, fill up the number 2 first. The reason is for that, let A be the angle of LOL, that already has shown in the previous, that what I had shown, that once we are filling up this lower side, what it's becoming, that G is trying, because when we are loading cargo or anything on a ship, the center of a gravity will move in the same direction. Means right now the center of gravity is here and we are loading in the down bottom, so the G will shift downward. Okay, so once the G is shifted downward, then now what is exactly happening, now G has shifted much. Okay, so and after that we are filling as per this first, after that it's fill up. Now fill up the two port. The reason is for that, let A be the angle of flow to the starboard at the first, and P the reduction to the angle of flow by the completing filling up the other two or port starboard. Now Q be the least caused by the filling up either number 2 port or number 2 starboard. So R be the resultant inclination after completing filling up either number 2 or number 2 starboard. So if 2 starboard is run up first, therefore R equals to A minus PQ, and RP is run up to first, R equals to A minus P minus Q. In both cases the R is to result to starboard, is to the starboard. So basically this is nothing. Okay, this is nothing, it is just explaining, it's taking some value and it's trying to explain that how G is shifting and how basically the main purpose, that the vessel will be on a stable condition, it will come on a stable only once the GM becomes positive. So this is the entire explanation. Hope now this time it's clear to you, and I think that there is no problem in understanding that what is angle of roll and why we are filling up the lower side first. And if you really enjoyed this video, then give us a thumbs up and do like and share this video and subscribe the channel. Thank you and Jai Hind.